Welcome to the Alumni Podcast. Joining us today is La-Tieka Howell, previous SGA President. Hi, La-Tieka. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Would you like to tell us a little more about what you've been up to?
Sure. So, since graduating A&M San Antonio, I have honestly kept myself busy. I've been working for City Council for the past few years. Currently, I work for District 7, and I'm the Director of Constituent Services and Events. So, it's quite the job, but I really enjoy it. It kind of hits all the things that I enjoy doing the most.
Really?
Yeah, as far as serving people, as far as engaging with community, things like that, I find a lot of joy in that, and so I'm happy that that's what I get to do as a profession.
That's wonderful. Yes, I realize that you're very active in the community, so we'll get into that later. But would you like to start us off first with a JAG question?
Sure. What was your favorite class during your time as a student? My favorite class. It's probably, I would say it was probably business law. Like we had there were a couple of classes that were like entry-level business law type classes. And ethics, those two. I think I enjoyed those the most just because they cause you to, the ethics class in particular causes you to think of different situations in a different way. It challenges you, and I enjoyed that a lot. And then the business law class, I just thought it was really interesting to learn some of the information that we gained from the legal side of things.
Yeah, I don't know. So the ethics class really pushed you to train your mindset and adapt?
It did. Because people always have their biases. People always have their initial thoughts on how things should go or why things should be a certain way. But with the ethics class, sometimes your task was to think opposite of what you would normally think. That was the challenge, right? So you have to poke holes in your own thought process. And that I honestly thought was really fun. I like to kind of see the parallels between what I thought versus what other people would think and why, and just delve deeper into just the different aspects of your morals or other people's morals versus, what you understand things to be.
That sounds interesting. Honestly, I also like classes like that. It's really fun to see you push yourself out of like your own mindset and think of what others would do. So I agree with you there, 100%. Is that something you use now?
Honestly, in a way, yes. Because doing constituent services, just to kind of explain that a bit better, you often get calls from people of all backgrounds needing help with a variety of things. I'll get calls from someone about things as simple as, like, the grass in this lot is overgrown and I don't like how it looks, to someone saying, like, hey, I've got an eviction notice and I need to be out of my house in the next 2 weeks. What do I do? And so sometimes when you're dealing with such a wide range of people with such just a variety of issues like that, you have to put yourself in their shoes and remember that even if it may not necessarily be important to you, it's important to them, and think about it from their perspective. And, think about the next level of things. So for instance, like the grass is overgrown. You may think like, that's not a big deal. Why are you calling about that? But then you get into things like the broken window theory, which if you don't take care of something, other people are not going to take care of it. And then it attracts all the bad things that you don't want in an area. And so it gets worse, right?
Right.
But if you take care of it, other people are going to respect it. Other people are going to take care of it. And it's almost like a deterrent. You won't typically see some of the negatives. People won't dump their trash there. People are more inclined to value it the way you value it because you're taking care of it. So something as small as that, you think about it a little differently in this role. And so I would say, yes, I do apply it in some ways.
That's amazing. I really hadn't thought of it that deep. So would you like to tell us a little more about your experience at TMUSA and as an SGA president?
Absolutely. So my experience at TMUSA took me for a surprise, honestly. When I first started here, I told myself I'm not going to get involved in a lot of stuff. I was so serious too. I thought I meant it. I was like, no, I'm only going to get involved in like one club. maybe 2, and that was it. And I lied. That was
that was a lie.
Complete lie. And so it started off with me being a College of Business senator for Student Government Association. And eventually I got involved in Campus Activities Board and Black Student Union. And I started to kind of popcorn into a lot of different organizations, events, things like that. And I fell in love with it. I love being involved. I love being engaged. And so it was hard not to. But student government really helped me open up a side of myself I didn't know was there. It helped me discover some leadership qualities that I wanted to explore but didn't know I was capable of. And it pushed me out of my comfort zone, because when I came into A&M San Antonio, I told myself I'm going to just get my business degree and hopefully I can get some management position somewhere. That's literally what I thought. That was my thought process. And by the time I graduated into the role of Deputy Policy Director for City Council District 2. That's a big jump from what I thought I was going to do.
That is really big.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You really came in and said, I'm just here for one thing.
Right.
And then you came out with so much more.
It really, really did.
That's crazy. What's one of the funnest parts about being so active?
The connections you make. I love connecting with people. I love seeing how things change and how things grow. Like, for instance, I still follow SGA on social media now, and I love how much more active it is. I love seeing all the things that they're doing and just seeing how it's growing and how much more engaged people are. So seeing those elements, and also just keeping in contact with the people that I met and connected with while I was here. There's still quite a few friends and colleagues that I built connections with while I was here from SGA and other orgs. And even now, seeing them go out and do great things and catching up with them from time to time, I love doing that.
That's great. What was I going to say? Oh, you are also, I heard.
Oh, gosh.
It's nothing bad. It's great. I heard you were an Alumni Award.
Yes, I was the recent graduate recipient of, what year was it? 2022 maybe? 2023? I can't remember. I was very honored. I was very honored by that, and it was a pleasant surprise for sure. I don't even know what to say. To this day, I don't know what to say. I was appreciative and I was humbled, honestly.
Really? What was that like? I don't think I've ever attended.
It was a great experience. So Dr. Mary Kay, she puts on this really great event, and basically it's 3 different award categories. It's the recent graduate, I think it's distinguished graduate, and then I want to say it might be Spirit of the Jaguar. I think. I can't remember, honestly.
Something like that.
And people get nominated for these different awards, and they get to invite their friends and family. It's this great sit-down luncheon. The president of the university comes and presents the awards, and people who are receiving the awards, they get to give a long speech, which it was nice to hear other people's, but it was very stressful when I had to write my own, because it's a long speech.
I know. I recently had to give a speech myself, and I was stressing. It was my first speech ever. It was scary, so I get that.
Yeah, but it was really great, and especially to have my friends and family there to celebrate that with me. It was a great experience.
That's cool. It must feel really nice to have your family there and support you.
Absolutely.
I also know you're very active in the community. Can you tell me more about the nonprofits you're part of?
Yes. So one of the nonprofits that really has my heart is called Driving Single Parents, Inc. And actually, I heard about it while I was attending A&M San Antonio. This story is, to me at least, crazy. I didn't have a car, and I was a single parent. And basically, I was scrolling through...
You're good. It's okay.
I was scrolling through social media, and I saw this advertisement for an organization that gives a free car to single parents in need. Mm-hmm. I was like, no way, this is a scam. But something told me just look at it. So I clicked it. It didn't ask for anything serious. So I was like, fine, I'll send my email and see what happens. And a person got back to me and we corresponded. They turned out to be legit. So I went ahead and went through the application process. And I remember I was at a Jaguar Knight Spurs game. Like we were like at the Spurs game, you know, cheering for the Spurs, the whole shebang. And I get a phone call. And they were like, you know, hey, La-Tieka, I want to let you know we decided to select you for the car. And that moment, like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it was real. Because when I say it's a free car, I mean, like, bumper to bumper, 100% free, registration, everything. All I had to do was have car insurance. And so that was a big game changer for me. Mm-hmm. It made it a lot, it honestly, it made it a lot easier for me on the job front. It made it a lot easier for me as far as like just finishing out my internship and getting involved with the other things that I wanted to do. The impact I can't put into words. And I don't have words. I was so moved by the fact that this organization exists and how it impacted me that I was like, you know, I really want to get involved with you guys and help you guys do this for other people. Right. And so I started off on the board as just a board member. Mm-hmm. And eventually, like, I was bringing ideas and they were very receptive to them. And eventually I got to the point where they asked me if I wanted to be, like, the VP of philanthropy. Mm-hmm. And I was honored. I was like, absolutely, you know, I thought that was incredible. Fast forward, I got to the point financially where I was able to buy a new car. And so the one that they gifted to me, we fixed it all up and we were actually able to bless someone else with that. And that was a full circle moment, ugly tears, like it was ridiculous. But it was an incredible experience. On top of that, I'm also on the special events committee for Project Mend. And that is an incredible organization. Their work focuses on helping people with mobility issues. Mm-hmm. So if you need a wheelchair, if you need like medical supplies, basically, let me specify. So when people go to the hospital and they need like walkers, or if they need medical equipment that helps them with being mobile in some form or another, mm-hmm. that's basically what they specialize in. And they're one of the only organizations in Texas that they are literally like they go through all the protocols and get inspected and are official to take this equipment, refurbish it, and give it to people in need for free or low cost. And so it's an amazing organization. They have a great gala that's coming up, actually. And so we're preparing for that in October. And then the last thing I'm involved in is my sorority, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, Epsilon Alpha Eta Zeta chapter. I actually came into the sorority here at A&M San Antonio through the Delta chapter and was super active. Graduated, COVID happened, I had to take a little break and get my life back together.
It's okay.
And now I'm in the graduate chapter as the social action chair. And so we're actually gearing up to do a lot of voter registration, a lot of like civic engagement, social action type activities, voter education, things like that. We're working on doing a panel in partnership with the NAACP in October as well. It's going to be a busy month.
I know. October is where everything's going down.
It is.
Wow, that's actually a lot.
It is. I don't know why I do this to myself, but I enjoy it, so I guess it's okay.
Okay, well, if you enjoy it, that's why you do it to yourself. I'm also aware that while you were here, you were a Ring Scholarship recipient.
Yes. I never take it off. That was an emotional moment. I remember applying and thinking, like, I haven't even been here that long. I'm probably not going to get it. But I was surprised, and I ended up being selected. That was a big moment. I'm a non-traditional student, and so when I first came back to school, I actually started at not Northwest Vista. I started at San Antonio College, and my focus was just get your associates, and get through, and that's better than where you were. Got my associates, and I was kind of like, it might be cool to get my bachelor's. And
let's take a little point there.
Exactly. And what's funny is I almost went to UTSA, and I had a scholarship there and everything, but the recruiter for A&M San Antonio, invited me to check out the campus. I'm the type, I don't want to do like a campus tour. I want to just go by myself. And so that's what I did. And people were so warm and so nice. It just sold me. Like I was hooked. And so I ended up coming here, and it was the best decision I ever could have made.
That's really amazing. I think we still have that community because I'm a current student now, and I actually started not long ago, and people are really nice. Like everywhere, it's crazy. This campus,
people say that when you come to San Antonio, San Antonio in some ways feels like a small town in the way that people are warm and they'll connect with you, and they slow down a little bit, right? They'll take their time with you. And A&M San Antonio feels like San Antonio in that sense.
Yes, it has that similar energy and that community sense.
Absolutely.
Of course. No, I agree. I know, I feel that. Do you have any advice for current students?
Get involved. Honestly, that's always my advice. Get involved. The college experience isn't just classes. It doesn't have to just be classes. You literally get out of college what you put into it. And so if you put in the time to connect with people, if you put in the time to get involved with organizations, you're going to discover other sides to yourself. You're going to discover other talents. You're going to grow talents that you may already have. And you'll be able to build on that even more when you graduate. The degree that you get from here can be so much more than the piece of paper that you put in the frame if you give yourself the opportunity to make it more than that. And so getting involved, connecting, building those relationships, all of that, those are the things that I would say is the best advice I could give.
I think that's great advice. I think that's something that a lot of incoming students don't really acknowledge because they're really focused or nervous about starting something they're not really sure about. And I think they forget that they can find themselves in a community through an organization.
Absolutely. And you said the point that you said just now that people are nervous about starting something that, they don't know about. Well, they're with a bunch of other students that are starting things they don't know about. So in a way, everyone's in it together. Right. And so they can find some comfort in that.
That is so true. I literally just went through that, and I felt like that. I felt like I was the only one. And my sister actually was like, you're not the only one, trust me.
Exactly.
So that's so true. But going back, you said you were a non-traditional student. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so essentially I'm not your straight out of high school, straight to college type student. Right. When I first graduated, I graduated a while back. I'm not going to say when, but I graduated a while back. I did go to college for about a year. Life happened, finances happened, and I had to stop for some years. I worked for a while, I had a kid, and then eventually the opportunity and time presented itself where I was able to get back into school. And so I did. And it was challenging for sure because, now I have my family, my kiddo, I have work, and just trying to navigate that. It was a bit hard, and I'm first gen. So that played a factor in what took so long in me coming back to school because the first time I was in programs that helped me get into school, and I didn't have to think too hard about the process of application and everything. I just listened to what, the teacher said.
I'm going to just follow along.
Exactly. But doing it on your own, especially after you hadn't been to school for some time, it was hard. I think it took me about 2 or 3 tries before finally getting enrolled, just because the first few times I couldn't figure out how to navigate campus at San Antonio College. It was a lot bigger than I realized. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to bring. I was just kind of like, what am I doing? Forget it. I don't want to do it anymore. And I would leave. But then the last time, my best friend at the time, who is now my wife, we got married.
Oh, that's amazing.
She didn't let me give up. And she was like, no, we're going to figure it out. We're going to go to the campus and get you enrolled. And that's literally what happened. We went to the campus. She asked all the questions till we figured out what I needed to do. And by the time I left that campus, I was enrolled. And so that was the start of the journey that I'm in now. But essentially with non-traditional students, that's what it is. It's students that didn't necessarily go to college and, straight out of high school. They either took a break or maybe they went and took a break, but either way, they're back. And now they're trying to finish their journey.
That's amazing support you had from your best friend.
It is. It really is.
That must have been such a cute story.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to add?
I think I would like to give a special shout out to SGA.
Right.
I saw that they're recruiting right now, so if you're thinking about joining, join. It's an amazing experience. It's a great opportunity for leadership development and just getting out of your comfort zone. And I just want to thank all the people in my circle that supported me. There's way too many people to name. There really is, but they know who they are, and I appreciate them deeply.
That's great. That's wonderful. Thank you for joining me here today. It was nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me.